What's going on, everybody? Miggy here with Miggy Reviews It, and today we're going to be talking about the 2 inches in my pants that's going to light up your life. Today we're going to be talking about the Olight S1 mini baton. So, quick overview here. I've had this flashlight since 2018. It is 2 inches long, about the same size as a Vienna sausage, give or take. So we're looking at a flashlight that has 450 lumens, about an hour-long battery runtime, and overall 450 lumens for my use is quite bright. It is enough to get by with most of the stuff that I would do on a day-to-day basis. Now mind you, most of the stuff that I'm doing is about 12 to 24 inches away from my face, and usually it's with wires or something like a Ethernet head, so it's all pretty small work, so I don't need a huge floodlight versus a spotlight. So with this flashlight, you're looking at a bit more of a spot rather than a flood. I would say that it's a little bit too much of a spotlight for me, and I would prefer to have a little bit more flood on my next flashlight. Moving on to ergonomics, the flashlight here has fantastic ergonomics when it comes to finding the button when you're pulling it out of your pocket. I haven't found a time where I pulled it out of my pocket and I've not been able to find the side button, not a tail switch, but a side button. And it's pretty small, so I found that you can't really get a whole hand on it, and I've had times where I've fumbled it just because of the size that the flashlight has. This is normally the grip that I end up with on it when I'm pointing it at something, kind of like a weird little 3-finger grip all along the length of the unit. With regards to mouth holding this flashlight, it's pretty easy to hold in your mouth. Granted, it is, again, the size of a Vienna sausage. Those are pretty easy to get into your mouth. It's nice and easy to do. It's nice and light, so you don't really fatigue too much if you do have to hold it in your mouth for a couple of minutes while you're doing something. The tail cap magnet is fantastic for my use. I've found plenty of times where I've needed to kind of just clip it onto things, and it's come in really handy, especially in a lot of server racks and a lot of audio racks that we do. You'll find that there's a lot of metal everywhere. It's easy to clip on, and it's easy to just go hands-free that way rather than putting it in your mouth. Something that's kind of in the way of ergonomics, but not really, is the clip. So this clip is a little S-clip here, and I found that the flashlight has a tendency to kind of slip out of your pocket when you're moving around or when you're crawling around, or when you kneel. Stuff in your pockets kind of gets underneath it, and it has a tendency to push it out of your pocket. Even moving around, your thigh can move it out of your pocket pretty easily, so that's something to pay attention to. Long term, there's a couple of things that I have found about this flashlight that I do and don't like. So first things first, something that I've found that I really enjoy about this flashlight is that it's durable. I have dropped it multiple times off of ladders, off of ceilings, and like down people's walls and stuff like that by accident, and it still keeps going. There's never been a time where I've dropped it on the floor and I've worried about it, not working, the lens shattering, or anything like that, which has been really good, especially for the work that I do. The coating on the flashlight as well is very durable. It's very sturdy. It hasn't rubbed off just from me holding it. Obviously, anywhere that it's been dropped or hit concrete, it has kind of worn off a little bit, but not to a point where it doesn't look bad. I mean, I'll have some shots as well of how it looks. There's some blemishes, but that's about it. The only thing that's really worn out on this particular flashlight is the button. So this button used to be black, it's now clear. It doesn't really change how I use the flashlight. It doesn't really affect the quality of the flashlight because the button still works fantastic. It's just the coating on whatever they use there, but if that's something that matters, this started happening probably 2 months into having the flashlight. The last thing I really want to talk about is one of my bigger pain points of this flashlight, and it's actually been hinted on earlier in this video. It's the pocket clip. So talking about the pocket clip, it's an S-curved pocket clip, so it's got, clippable in both directions. The biggest problem that I've had is that because the pocket clip is so smooth, there's no friction between whatever pant pocket you're putting it in and the actual clip. So all you're depending on is tension between the two, the clip kind of just holding on. But I'll try and find some videos of it kind of slipping out of my pocket here. But it does have a tendency to slip out of your pocket. It does have a tendency to really let go very easily. The other thing is that the S-clip is supposed to allow you to put the flashlight onto a ball cap. And I found that, you know, it sounds really cool because it's like, oh, you can clip it onto your hat. That's awesome. But what I've found is that, well, clipping it onto your hat, most of the time if it's sunny outside and I'm wearing a hat, the last thing I need is a flashlight. And you can say, oh, but you know, you can wear a hat inside, you could be working, and you know, you can wear a hat. That's not something I do, and if I was wearing a hat, normally it's to keep stuff from falling onto and into my hair, and I'll normally wear my hat backwards at that point, because again, the work I do needs me to have a little bit of space clearance between my face and the stuff. So I don't normally wear a hat indoors, I don't normally wear a hat for work, so this clip is kind of useless for me, but it might be useful for some other people in their work. I'm really not too sure. So some long-term conclusions that I've come across with this particular flashlight. Knowing that I was going to be doing a review, I've had a lot of time to think about what I want to say about this flashlight, and the longer and longer I've thought about it, the more and more I realize that the only reason that I carry this every day is mostly because it's the flashlight that I have available to me. I've found that the problems that I have with this flashlight, in particular the fact that the battery life only lasts an hour when I work 10 to 12 hours a day and need something closer to maybe 3 hours to get through the day comfortably. The fact that it's a really small flashlight and it's easy to drop, especially for someone like me who works on ladders. Just dropping your flashlight wastes a lot of time having to go back down, pick it up, and bring it back up with you. That and the fact that it's a bit more of a spotlight than a floodlight. It's not a big problem, but it is something that I'd like to solve. So overall, for my everyday carry, this flashlight is actually pretty poor, and that's something that I've come to find from my carrying it every single day. It's probably going to turn into a weekend flashlight or a day off carry, because it's small enough that it'll fit in your jeans pocket. It doesn't have, you know, it has a little bit more friction inside of your jeans than it would in my regular work pants, just because of how rough jeans can be. And, you know, who needs more than an hour of flashlight time when you're just, you know, putt-putting around town or doing whatever. So I think that's what's going to end up happening to this flashlight. And I'm now in the market for a new flashlight. So if you guys have any recommendations on what flashlight I should look at getting, put them down in the comments, I suppose. I'll read through them and I'll compile whatever you guys think is a good idea. I'll do some more research myself on things that I want in my flashlight, and we'll go from there. I'll probably have another video for a first impressions and then some videos about, you know, how I feel about the flashlights that's going to replace this coming up in a couple of weeks. And from there, that's about it. One last thing. Next video, I don't know which one I should review, so you guys let me know. Benchmade 940, Benchmade Bug Out. I have thoughts on both, and it would be not really a long-term video, but it would be more of a, you know, having had it in hand for a few weeks on each one of them to get my thoughts on that. So let me know as well down in the comments. All right, have a good day, guys. Take care.